Hello. It's more fun if the beginning matches the thumbnail. So, let's just make sure this live stream's going lovely. Check. Forward live. Ooh, apparently we are live. Okay, so what we're going to do is pop this over on the Twitters. There we go. Now people can see the thing. Neat. So what's going to happen here today is I'm going to read the Scum Manifesto. That should be fun, right? Let's see what makes these feminists tick. So, little preview of things to come real quick. Teehee. So let's see what kind of lunacy we have here. We have the Scum Manifesto by Valerie Solanas. So supposedly this is some sort of feminist literature, I guess. It should be fun. I've scanned it. I haven't even read it yet. Let's see what it's like. Life in this society at best is an utter bore, and no aspect of society being at all relevant to women, there remains to civic-minded, responsible, thrill-seeking females only to overthrow the government, eliminate the money system, institute complete automation, and destroy the male sex. We are starting off well. It is now technically feasible to reproduce without the aid of males, or for that matter females, and to produce only females. We must begin immediately to do so. Retaining the male has not even the dubious purpose of reproduction. The male is a biological accident. The Y male gene is an incomplete X female gene. That is, it has an incomplete set of chromosomes. In other words, the male is an incomplete female, a walking abortion, aborted at the gene stage. To be male is to be deficient, emotionally limited. Maleness is a deficiency disease, and males are emotional cripples. Ooh, lad. The male is completely egocentric, trapped inside himself, incapable of empathizing or identifying with others, or love, friendship, affection, of tenderness. He is completely isolated. He is a completely isolated unit, incapable of rapport with anyone. His responses are entirely visceral, not cerebral. His intelligence is a mere tool in the services of his drives and needs. He is incapable of mental passion and mental interaction. He can relate to anything other than he can't relate to anything other than his own physical sensations. He is a half-dead, unresponsive lump, incapable of giving or receiving pleasure or happiness. Consequently, he is at best an utter bore, an inoffensive blob, since only those capable of absorption in others can be charming. He is trapped in a twilight zone halfway between humans and apes, and is far worse off than the apes because, unlike the apes, he is capable of a large array of negative feelings: hate, jealousy, contempt, disgust, guilt, shame, doubt, and moreover, he is aware of what he is and what he isn't. I'm gonna need to go full Karen on this one, so we're just gonna get some disinfectant and cleanse the shit that is currently coming out of my mouth. Oh, this is fun. So, also, this is not for children, and it's not monetized. But it may be brought to you by Luxusova. If you go and drink vodka, make sure it's from potatoes. Where was I? Although completely... Hold on, I need to be more Karen. Although completely physical, the male is unfit even for stud service. Even assuming mechanical proficiency, which few men have, he is, first of all, incapable of zestfully, lustfully tearing off a piece, but instead is eaten up with guilt, shame, fear, and insecurity. Feelings rooted in male nature, which the most enlightened training can only minimize. Second, the physical feel. You know what? Maybe it's not Karen. I need to channel for this. Mm. All right, I must imagine my hair is blue. I am 600 pounds. My glasses come to points, and I am always a victim. But what about my feelings? There we go. There we can go. Second, the physical feeling he attains is next to nothing. And third, he is not empathizing with his partner, but is obsessed with how he's doing, turning in an A performance, doing a good plumbing job. To call a man an animal is to flatter him. He is a machine, a walking dildo. Oh, here we go. I just have to channel my inner dominatrix. It is often said that men use women, use them for what? Surely not pleasure. Eaten up with guilt, shame, fears, and insecurities, and obtaining, if he's lucky, a barely perceptible physical feeling, the male is nonetheless obsessed with screwing. He'll swim through a river of snot, wade nostril deep through a mile of vomit if he thinks there'll be a friendly pussy awaiting him. Friendly pussy. He'll screw a woman he despises, any snaggletooth hag, and furthermore pay for the opportunity. Why? Relieving physical tension isn't the answer, as masturbation suffices for that. It's not ego satisfaction. That doesn't explain screwing corpses and babies. Completely egocentric, unable to relate, empathize, or identify, and filled with a vast, pervasive, diffuse sexuality, the male is physically passive. Isn't that right, sweetheart? He hates his passivity, so he projects it onto women, defines the make as active, then sets out to prove that he is a man. His main means of attempting to prove it is screwing. Big man with a big dick tearing off a big piece. Since he's attempting to prove an error, he must prove it again and again. Screwing, then, is a desperate compulsion. Attempt to prove he's not passive, not a woman, but he is passive and does want to be a woman. Isn't that right, slave girl? Who's a pretty girl? You are. Being an incomplete female, the male spends his life attempting to complete himself, to become female. He attempts to do this by constantly seeking out, fraternizing with, and trying to live through and fuse with the female by claiming his own all-female characteristics, emotional strength and independence, forcefulness, dynamism, decisiveness, coolness, objectivity, assertiveness, courage, integrity, vitality, baby, intensity, depth of character, grooviness, with premature, etc., and projecting onto women all male traits: vanity, frivolity, triviality, weakness, etc. It should be said, though, that the male has one glaring area of superiority over the female: public relations. He has done a brilliant job of convincing millions of women that men are women and women are men. The male claim that females find fulfillment through motherhood and sexuality reflects what males think they'd find fulfilling if they were female. But you are a pretty little girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. Women, in other words, don't have penis envy. Men have pussy envy. When the male accepts his passivity, defines himself as a woman, males as well as females think men are women and women are men, and becomes a transvestite, he loses his desire to screw, or to do anything else for that matter. He fulfills himself as a drag queen, wearing a cock cage. embarrassing yourself in front of public. Shame play. You're so bad, aren't you? Sorry, I went off on a tangent again. I'm not necessarily saying I'm for hire, but hey, time to twuff. Time to twuff. And 250 an hour is 250 an hour. I'm just saying, call me. He attempts to do this by constantly. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. No. Where was I? Women other word on penis envy. Male accept finds himself a drag queen and gets his dick chopped off. Next step, boys. Call me, I'll walk you through it. You're not alone. I know this lady in New York or maybe Chicago with the red hair just talks a million miles an hour. Might be New York though. Back to it. I keep doing this. I should drink more. I am too sober for this nonsense. Where are we going? Gets his dick chopped off, then he achieves a continuous, diffuse sexual feeling from being a woman. Screwing is, for a man, a defense against his desire to be a female. He is responsible for... Oh, this starts off well. And I'll try to get into less tangents, or maybe more. Who knows what's going on? Excuse me, what? Where did that... You son of a bitch. I'm in. Man is responsible for alcohol. You're welcome, women. Oh, you luscious at home. War. The male's normal compensation for not being female, namely getting his big gun off, is grossly inadequate, as he can get it off only a very limited number of times. So he gets it off on a really massive scale and proves to the entire world that he's a man, since he has no compassion or ability to empathize or identify, proving his manhood is worth an endless amount of mutilation and suffering and an endless number of lives, including his own. His own life being worthless, he would rather go out in a blaze of glory than to plod grimly on for 50 more years. Niceness, politeness, and dignity. Every man, deep down, knows he is a worthless piece of shit. Say that 5 times, record it 100 times for me, and don't forget that $250. Screw YouTube, I should just go on Chatterbait. Yes, boy, what do you need to show me? All right, that'll be money. Come see me next week. I will... make myself available to the internet again. That was a terrible idea. Back to the thing. Overwhelmed by a sense of animalism and deeply ashamed of it, wanting not to express himself, but to hide from others his total physicality, total egocentricity, the hate and contempt he feels for other men, and to hide from himself the hate and contempt he suspects other men feel for him. Having a crudely constructed nervous system that is easily upset by the least display of emotion or feeling, the male tries to enforce a social code that ensures perfect blandness, unsullied by the slightest trace or feeling or upsetting opinion. He uses his terms like copulate, sexual congress, have relations with. To men, sexual relations is redundancy. Overlaid with stilted manners, the suit on the chimp. Poor widow man. Money, marriage, and prostitution work in prevention of an automated society. There is no human reason for money or for anyone to work more than 2 or 3 hours a week at the very most. All non-creative jobs, practically all jobs being done now, could have been automated long ago. And in a moneyless society, everyone can have as much of the best of everything as she wants. But there are non-human male reasons for wanting to maintain the money system. Oh my god, this bitch needs to eat a dick and shut the fuck up. Or a clit. Whatever she prefers to munch on. If she prefers to munch anything, she can just eat an asshole. You know what? This bitch needs to eat an asshole. Everyone has one. It's not sexist that way. It's not even transphobic that way. Even transsexuals have assholes. Back to the narrative. So these are the reasons for wanting to maintain the money system to catch you up on, dear God, whatever the hell this is. Number one, pussy. Despising his highly inadequate self, overcome with intense anxiety and a deep, profound loneliness, when by his empty self, desperate to attach himself to any female in dim hopes of completing himself, in the mystical belief that by touching gold he'll turn to gold, the male craves the continuous companionship of women. The company of the lowest female is preferable to his own or that of other men who serve only to remind him of his repulsiveness. But females, unless very young or very sick, must be coerced or bribed into male company. I have shiny things. I have a roof. I have food. It used to be the arrangement. I just need you to stay here and make sure this exists for me. And then you can enjoy it. Can you do that? Okay, I'm going to go out into the suck while I just make sure that this nest is lovely. Like, whatever, I thought humans were nesters. Whatever happened to that? We just, back to the thing. Number two, supply the non relating male with the delusion of usefulness and enable him to try to justify his existence by digging holes and then filling them up. Leisure time horrifies the male, who will have nothing to do but contemplate his grotesque self. Unable to relate or to love, the male must work. Females crave absorbing, emotionally satisfying, meaningful activity, but lacking the opportunity or ability for this. They prefer to idle and waste their time away in ways of their own choosing, sleeping, shopping, bowling, shooting pool, playing cards and other games, breeding, reading, walking around, daydreaming, eating, playing with themselves, popping pills, going to the movies, getting analyzed, traveling, raising dogs and cats, lolling about on the beach, swimming, watching TV, listening to music, decorating their houses, gardening, sewing, nightclubbing, dancing, visiting, improving their minds, taking courses, and absorbing culture, lectures, plays, concerts, arty movies, and trying to rip off George Carlin. Clearly. Therefore, many females would, even assuming complete economic equality between the sexes, prefer living with males or peddling their asses on the street, thus having most of their time for themselves, to spending many hours of their days doing boring, stultifying, non-creative work for someone else, functioning as less than animals as machines, or at best, if able, to get a good job co-managing the shit pile. What will liberate women, therefore, from male control? What will liberate women, therefore, from male control is the total elimination of the money work system, not the attainment of economic equality with men within it. Right? Screw equality. Just burn it all down. That will. That's going to work out. Meanwhile, with these, I'm not saying the writer's obviously a lesbian, doesn't realize is all of this was done to satiate, placate, and perhaps make shut the fuck up some women. We just want you to be happy. And let us do weird dick things without like being too mad about it. Be mad about it when reasonable, when necessary. But for the most part, if we could just have a job where we can like get you to stay at the house and just we could attend to making you happy instead of having to make you happy and deal with your fucking workday, I feel like society would be happier. Not saying you have to raise kids. I'm not even saying you have to stay at home. Hey, get a job. Fuck it. Maybe I can stay at home. Make YouTube videos. Oh, it'd be so pretty. Anyway, back to it. Number 3, power and control. Unmasterful in his personal relations with women, the male attains to masterfulness by manipulation of money and everything controlled by money. In other words, of everything and everybody. Can't argue with that, I guess. For love substitute. Unable to give love or affection, the male gives money. It makes him feel motherly. God damn it. The mother gives milk. He gives bread. He is the breadwinner. No, we're just more expendable. Push come to shove. Better that Mama's around. Something's gonna happen to one of us. Better that Mama's around. We know. 5. Provide the male with a goal. Incapable of enjoying the moment, the male needs something to look forward to, and money provides him with an eternal, never ending goal. Just think of what you could do with $80 trillion. Invest it, and in 3 years, you'd have $30 trillion. Invest the world's supply of money into the world. Okay. You'll get more money. I mean, ultimately, it's just great. Fuck it. 6. Provide the basis for males' major opportunity to control and manipulate fatherhood. Yes. Men should have no say in fatherhood. We are just, what is it? Brute. No, we're not even supposed to be studs according to this. Yes. If it wasn't for, this is so fucking delusional. Oh my God. Yeah, no, women didn't really want to go to war. They didn't want to vote. They didn't want to have to be in control of the land. They just wanted to enjoy all the perks of being associated with it without having to actually be responsible for it. It's like being vice president most of the time. Like, yeah, anyway. Fatherhood. Oh, yeah, sorry. Assassination Day is trending on Twitter. Can't explain why. Maybe a movie's coming out. Killing Jesus. But no, isn't Easter when he rose from the. I'm Jewish anyway. I don't fucking care. So, fatherhood and mental illness, fear, cowardice, timidity, humility, insecurity, passivity. Mother wants what's best for her kids. Daddy only wants what's best for daddy. That is peace and quiet. Pandering to his delusion of dignity, respect. Oh, come on. You can't respect your parents, bitch. A good reflection on himself, status, and the opportunity to control and manipulate, or if he's an enlightened father, to give guidance. His daughter, in addition, he wants sexually. Wow. We're just going to reverse the Oedipus complex because it's not her fault. She didn't know. And then she killed herself. Why didn't he kill himself? Fuck Oedipus. Or did he? It's been so long. I thought he went on to. Yeah. Or no, his son killed him or something. I don't remember. No, he killed his father. Then it doesn't matter. He gives her hand in marriage. The other part is for him. Daddy, unlike mother, can never give in to his kids, as he must at all costs preserve his delusion of decisiveness, forcefulness, always rightness and strength. Never getting one's way leads to lack of self-confidence in one's ability to cope with the world and passive acceptance of status quo. Mother loves her kids, although she sometimes gets angry, but anger blows over quickly, and even while it exists, doesn't preclude love and basic acceptance. Emotionally diseased daddy doesn't love his kids. He approves of them. If they're good, that is, if they're nice, respectful, obedient, subservient to its will, quiet, and not given to unseemly displays of temper, that would be most upsetting to daddy's easily disturbed male nervous systems. Well, I'm glad this obvious lesbian got that out. In other words, if they're passive vegetables, if they're not good, if they're not good, he doesn't get angry. Not if he's a modern civilized father. The old fashioned ranting, raving brute is preferable, as he is so ridiculous he can be easily despised. But it's hard to hate someone who loves you and just like doesn't go overboard with it. And then it's like, but I want to hate you because I fucked up and I don't want to actually admit to it. Or it's like, I understand that I am bringing this on myself, or technically this is my fault, or like, maybe you just hate gays and there's nothing I can do about it. Sorry, I'm just going to go suck all the dicks possible. Bye. Or in her case, suck all the clits. whatever. I don't care. But rather express disapproval, a state that, unlike anger, endures and precludes a basic acceptance, leaving the kid with the feeling of worthlessness and a lifelong obsession with being approved of. Oh, that victim card. That victim card. I need acceptance. You must accept me for who I say I am, not for what I really am, the piece of shit that even I don't like, so I pretend to be someone else. Sounds familiar? Is that familiar to you? It's just one of those things. So where the fuck was I? Okay, hold on. Another words past lifelong obsession with being approved of. The result is fear of independent thought, as this leads to unconventional, disapproved of opinions and way of life. But then again, sometimes the unconventional thought is, yeah, I can totally base jump and pull the cord whenever I feel like it. That's an unconventional thought. And your father, who is the base jumping instructor, was like, bro, you got to do this when I say it. It's like, fuck you, old man. You don't accept my love for this canary, and it's my canary. You can't have it. And he's like, it's dead, it's dying. And you're like, no. And then you jump off the cliff, and you didn't take your old man's advice. And now, it's time for a shot. I feel like I've almost found the voice that this is written in. It's incredibly pretentious and just so obsessed with asshole that it's up its own without even having an asshole. Do you understand how much of a dickbag I sound like? And it's not the lisp. It's Barbie, Brittany, Bambi, whatever. That old well-to-do. Maybe this is Karen. This is Karen. Fuck you. Okay, I'm Karen. I have paid so much money to get what I deserve. I could go there. I could be like the Surgeon General, Big Mama, or Medea, or Eddie Murphy, or Hercules. Back to the thing. I'm just going to have more and more fun with this because it's just crazy. And I'm really just testing out my mic. Let's be honest. Let's be real here. What does it pick up? How quiet can I get? And it's still okay. So precludes the basic acceptance, lifelong. For the kid to want daddy's approval, it must respect daddy. And being garbage, daddy can make sure that he is respected by like a valley girl, kind of like, oh my god, Becky, you absolute batch. But isn't that kind of? It's like just a mix of valley girl and black and Jewish mother. Like, isn't that the stereotypical? Where was I? Daddy can make sure that he is respected only by remaining aloof, by distantness, by acting on the precept of familiarity breeds contempt, which is, of course, true if one is contemptible. By being distant and aloof, he is able to remain unknown and mysterious, and thereby to inspire fear, respect. Disapproval of emotional scenes leads to fear of strong emotion, fear of one's own anger and hatred. Fear of anger and hatred combined with a lack of self-confidence in one's ability to cope with and change the world, or even affect in the slightest way with our destiny. It's a modest belief that the world and most people. Sorry, I think, oh God, with Man on the Moon guy. And most people in it are nice, and the most banal, trivial amusements are great fun and deeply pleasurable. The effect of fatherhood on males specifically is to make them men. That is highly defensive of all impulses to passivity, faggotry, and desires to be female. Okay? That's the book or the Manifesto or whatever. Finally said it. Let's be honest. Finally said it. Every boy wants to imitate his mother, be her, fuse with her, but daddy forbids this. He is the mother. He gets to fuse with her. Literally, that's how life is created. Dickbag. Oh my god! I feel like telling this person to eat an asshole isn't he? God, I mean, I've tossed a good salad before, and I think I did a damn good job. She seemed to like it. Daddy's girl, always tense and fearful, uncool, unanalytical, lacking objectivity, praises daddy, and wait, no, did I? Oh no, I jumped ahead. Excuse me, excuse me. Let's just go back. The effect of fatherhood on males specifically is to make them men. That is highly defensive of all impulsives to passivity, faggotry, and of desires to be female. Every boy wants to imitate his mother, be her, fuse with her, but daddy forbids it. He is mother. He gets to fuse with her. So he tells the boy sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, not to be a sissy. Back to being a dominatrix, to act like a man's. Man's. The boy, scared shitless of and respecting his father, complies and becomes just like daddy, that model of manhood, the all-American ideal, the well-behaved heterosexual dullard. If you got a better voice for this, just let me know. The effect of fatherhood on females is to make them male, dependent, passive, domestic, animalistic, insecure, approval, insecurity seekers, cowardly, humble, respectful. Sorry. Carlin. There we go. Where was that? It was a fun list. I want to do the list. Disapproval for the kid. What the fuck? He gets to be the effect of fatherhood on females to make them male, dependent, passive, domestic, animalistic, insecure, approval, and security seekers, cowardly, humble, respectful of authorities and men, closed, not fully responsive, half dead, trivial, dull, conventional, flattened out, and thoroughly contemptible. Daddy's girl. Always tense and fearful, uncool, analytical, lacking objectivity, praises daddy and therefore other men against a background of fear, respect, and is not only unable to see the empty shell behind the facade, but accepts the male definition of himself as superior as a female and of herself as inferior as a male, which, thanks to daddy, she really is. It is the increase of fatherhood resulting from the increased and more widespread affluence that fatherhood needs in order to thrive. That has caused the general increase of mindfulness and the decline of women in the United States since the 1920s. Hold on. I'm going to do it like Baby Q. The close association of affluence with fatherhood has led, for the most part, to only the wrong girls, namely the privileged middle-class girls getting educated. The effect of fathers in some has been to corrode the world with maleness. The male has a negative Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to shit. Suppression of individuality. Ooh, maybe we'll do more Ace Ventura. Maybe that's what Austin was going for. Suppression of individuality, animalism, domestically and motherhood, and functionalism. The male is just a bunch of conditioned reflexes incapable of a mentally free response. He is tied to the earliest conditioning and determined completely by his past experiences. His earliest experiences are with his mother, and he is throughout the life tied to her. It never becomes completely clear to him it never becomes completely clear to the male that he is not part of his mother, that he is he and she is she. I feel like if I'm going to get a strike for anything, it's going to be for like being a TERF. But then again, LGB dropped the T. I'm not going to lie. The QAARP or whatever, the XYZ T, I mean, trans is not a sexuality. Just, it's not. You can be a transsexual, but that is not a relationship like being a homosexual or heterosexual or bisexual. Just throwing that out there. Not about hate. It's just it's not a sexuality. Again, you can be a transsexual. Your life can encompass transsexuality as a adjective, I guess. I don't know. But it's not a relationship. Because even if you're trans lesbians, it's just a heterosexual relationship. She's just into dudes who wear dresses. And that's perfectly okay. Just just saying, drop the Q. Also, um, either is or it isn't homo or bisexual. Get over it. You don't necessarily get to be in that club. Where was I? His greatest need is to be guided, sheltered, protected, and admired by Mama. Men expect women to adore what men shrink from in horror themselves, and being completely physical, he yearns to spend his time that's not spent out in the world, grimly defending his passivity. Move this over. Wallowing in basic animal activities, eating, sleeping, shitting, relaxing, and being soothed by mama, passive, rattle-headed daddy's girl, ever eager for approval, for a pat on the head. Where did I just put myself? You know what? I'm gonna do this thing while I'm thinking about it. Something about a pat on the head. I love a pat on the head. Oh my gosh, golly, it's fantastic. Did I complete? I feel like what? I don't remember that sentence. Is the increase of fatherhood resulting from increased and more widespread affluence that fatherhood needs in order to thrive that has caused the general increase of mindlessness and the decline of women in the United States since the 1920s? The close association of affluence with fatherhood has led, for the most part, to only the wrong girls, namely the privileged middle class girls, getting educated. And then the minus thingy. Basic activities we can shoot passive rattle-headed daddy's girl. Gonna do this. Why did someone want to go live? Oh my, sorry, I'm already live. Yeah, watch my stream, homie. Yeah, like, subscribe, hit that bell, then undo all of that. Fuck algorithms. I don't care. If you found it, you found it. Back to the story. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Buying time. Shit. Passive rattle-headed daddy's girl, ever eager for approval, for a pat on the head, for the respect if any passing piece of garbage is easily reduced to mama, mindless ministrator to physical needs, soother of the weary, apey brow, booster of the tiny ego, appreciator of the contemptible, a hot water bottle with tits. I could get behind that. Hot water bottles had tits. I might own one. Do I have a hot water bottle? Is that is that even a thing we do anymore? When was this written? I don't care. Why would it? But if it's water, I think cold water bottles. Cold water bottles with tits would be awesome because then I could be hydrated. It's cool and refreshing. And titties. So, titties aside, the reduction to animals of the women of the most backward segment of society, the privileged, educated middle class, the backwash of humanity where daddy reigns supreme, has been so thorough that they try to groove on labor pains and lie around the most advanced nation in the world in the middle of the 20th century with babies chomping away at their tits. Jesus. It's not for the kids' sake, though, that the experts tell women that mama should stay at home and grovel in animalism, but for daddies, the tits for daddy to hang on to, the labor pains for daddy to vicariously groove on. Half dead, he needs awfully strong stimuli to make him respond. Reducing the female to an animal, to mama, to a male is necessary for psychological as well as practical reasons. The male is a mere member of the species, interchangeable with every other male. That's because we're doing a good fucking job. Now, we're not necessarily interchangeable in our uniqueness or your attachment to us, but gosh golly, there is a man out there who will make sure you're taken care of. That is our promise to you. Please keep fucking us. Love, men. So, Where was I? Blah, 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 blah. So the sperm against women vicariously groove. Half dead as he needs awfully strong stimuli to make him respond. Reducing the female to an animal to mama is a male necessity for psychological as well as reproductive reasons. The male is a mere member of the species, interchangeable with every other male. He has no deep-seated individuality, which stems from what intrigues you, what outside yourself absorbs you, what you're in relation to. Completely self absorbed, capable of being in relation only to their bodies and physical sensations, males differ from each other only to the degree and in the ways that they attempt to defend against their passivity and against their desire to be female. If we could get off as hard and as long as you could, we would love to. But there's a trade off. Being Jewish, apparently we're supposed to thank God every morning. Thank you for making me male. I appreciate it. I don't want to have to deal with the shit. It sucks. That's what I'm told. I'm not a male. I'm not even a hot water bottle with tits. Why do all Jews sound like they're from New York? Like, why is that the... I totally have family in New York. Moving on. That sounds like a time for another shot. See if I can lose my spot. Let's see how many times I can just totally fuck this up and get sidetracked. Bam, bam, bam. Sperm banks. That sounds fun. The female's individuality, which he is acutely aware of, but which he doesn't comprehend and isn't capable of relating to or grasping, that is hand sanitizer. There we go. There we go. So, wow. Maybe I should set this next one. Sounds like the answer. Or maybe just... Where the fuck was I? Am on the ice, some island, blah blah blah, hippie, horde, what? The female's individuality, which he is acutely aware of, but which he doesn't comprehend and isn't capable of relating to or grasping emotionally, frightens and upsets him. Whatever makes you feel good, girl. And fills him with envy. So he denies it in her and proceeds to define everyone in terms of his or her function or use, assigning to himself, of course, the most important functions, Dr. President Scientist, therefore providing himself with an identity, if not individuality, and tries to convince himself and women he's succeeded best at convincing women. We do that. There is one of us. Times 10. For all of you. We got this. We got this. Just cut us a little slack every now and then, and we got you too. What's up, girl? How you doing? Oh my God. Who the fuck? Valerie Solanas? Ugh. Just why? Just fucking why, bro? Sis. Bitch. Okay. And tries to convince himself and women he's succeeded best at convincing women that the female function is to bear and raise children and to relax, comfort, and boost the ego. It says if, and it throws me off, of the male, that her function is such as to make her interchangeable with every other female. Yes, I'm not saying that you are individually interchangeable, but if not you, some female will be taken care of. We got this. We got you. In actual fact, the female function is to relate, groove, love, and be herself, irreplaceable by anyone else. The male function is to produce sperm. We now have sperm banks. And you know what? Yes. We will do that for you. Men are more than willing to... We got you. Sperm banks. There we go. In actual fact, the female function is to explore, discover, invent, solve problems, crack jokes, make music, all with love. In other words, create a magic world. Fairy tales. Prevention of privacy. Although the male, being ashamed of what he is and almost of everything he does, insists on privacy and secrecy in all aspects of his life, he has no real regard for privacy, being empty, not being a complete separate being, having no self to groove on, and needing to be constantly in female company. He sees nothing at all wrong with intruding himself on any woman's thoughts, even a total stranger's, anywhere at any time, but rather feels indignant and insulted when put down for doing so, as well as confused. He can't, for the life of him, understand why anyone would prefer so much as 1 minute of solitude to company of any creep around. Oh my God. Wanting to become a woman, he strives to be constantly around females, which is the closest he can be like to get to becoming one. So he created a society based upon the family, a male, female, the kid and their kids, the excuse for the family's existence, who live virtually on top of one another, unscrupulously violating the female's rights, privacy, and sanity. Na 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 na. This is my stop. Time to get off. I may go pop. Excuse me. Wham, 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 wham. Excuse me. Bam, 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 bam. You're standing on my neck. Bam, bam, bam. You're standing on my neck. La 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 la. Points to everyone who gets that. Blah 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 blah, man hating, blah blah blah, etc. etc. Where the fuck was I? Although create a magic world, creepy 1 minute solitude. Coming to the cube round, wanting to become a woman, he strives to be constantly around females, which is the closest he can get to becoming one. So he created a society based upon a family, a male, female, could, and their kids, excuse the family's existence, who live virtually on top of each other, unscrupulously violating the female's rights, privacy, and sanity. Yeah, leave mommy alone. Isolation, suburbs, and prevention of community. Our society is not a community, but merely a collection of isolated family units. Desperate, insecure, fearing his woman will leave him if she is exposed to other men or to anything remotely resembling life. Okay. The male seeks to isolate her from other men and from what little civilization there is, so he moves her out into the suburbs. A collection of self-absorbed couples and their kids. Isolation enables him to try to maintain his pretense of being an individual individual in you. That's what it says. Becoming a rugged individualist, a loner, equating non-corporation and solitariness with individuality. There is yet another reason for the male to isolate himself. Every man is an island, okay? Trapped inside himself, emotionally isolated, unable to relate to the male. Unable to relate, the male has a horror of civilization, people, cities, situations requiring an ability to understand and relate to people. So, like a scared rabbit, he scurries off, dragging daddy's little asshole with him into the wilderness, suburbs, or in the case of the hippie, he's way out, man. All the way out to the cow pasture where he can fuck and breed undisturbed and mess around with his beads and flute. To a self-sufficient man who can protect. How awful. The hippie who desires to be a man. No, wait, no, sorry, hold on, excuse me. Wait, no, I was right. The hippie whose desire to be a man, a rugged individualist, isn't quite as strong as the average man's, who, in addition, is excited by the thought of having lots of women accessible to him, rebels against the harshness of the breadwinner's life and the monotony of one woman. In the name of sharing and cooperation, he forms the commune or tribe, which, for all its togetherness, and partly because of it, the commune being an extended family, is an extended violation of the females' rights, privacy. Why does no one ever do this? Instead of, wow. Yeah, that gets really much better. Extended family violation, female rights standard is no more a community than a normal society. A true community consists of individuals, not mere species members, not couples, respecting each other's individuality and privacy at the same time, interacting with each other mentally and emotionally, free spirits in free relation to each other, and cooperating with each other to achieve common ends. Traditionalists say that the base of society and tribe never says the individual. Like, what is this nonsense? And to say that normally, partially common, the commune being an extended family is. Wait, no, sorry. Free spirits in free relation to each other and cooperating with each other to achieve common ends. Traditionalists say the basic unity of society is the family. Hippies say the tribe. No one says the individual. The hippie babbles on about individuality, but has no more conception of it than any other man. He desires to get back to nature, back to the wilderness, back to the home of furry animals that like he's one of, away from like the city where like there's at least a trace of a bare beginning of civilization to live at a species level. His time is taken up with simple, non-intellectual activities, farming, fucking, bread stringing, the most important activity of the commune, the one upon which it's based, is gang banging. I told you it got good. Gang banging. Thought you'd like that. I hope you did. The gangbang, that is. The hippie is enticed to the commune mainly by the prospect for free pussy. Let's all go to Burning Man. Fuck it, right? Right. We're all down with polyamory as long as we all get gangbangs. I think she's describing the lefties or something. It's kind of silly. But back to the gangbangs, because that's just a fun thing to say at whatever time of morning it is. The hippies entice the commune mainly by the prospect for free pussy, the main commodity to be shared, to be had just for the asking, but blinded by greed, he fails to anticipate all the other men he has to share with, or the jealousies and possessiveness for the pussies themselves. Men cannot cooperate to achieve a common end because each man is all the pussy for himself. The commune, therefore, is doomed to failure. Each hippie will panic, grab for the first simpleton who digs him, and whisks her off to the suburbs as fast as he can. The male cannot progress socially, but merely swings back and forth from isolation to gangbanging. All the while, the author seems to completely discredit a woman's autonomy and her ability to just seek a better mate. You know, you come across a more alpha, and this one isn't doing it for you. Survival of the fittest. I mean, but no, all men bad, just like the orange one. So, I mean, this is way before the bad orange man. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure everyone like him was part of her daddy issues. Where the fuck are we? Fucking breed undisturbed. Isolation entitles him. Their kids. Wait, no. We're back down. Bitch, male deals different. Conformity. No, men cannot cooperate. Men cannot. Isolation to gang banging. I just wanted to stress the gang banging part again. Conformity. Although he wants to be an individual, the male is scared of anything in himself that is the slightest bit different from other men. It causes him to suspect he's not really a man, that he's passive and totally sexual, a highly upsetting suspicion. If other men are A and he's not, then he must not be a man. He must be a fag. So he tries to affirm his manhood by being like all the other men, differentness in other men as himself threatens him, it means they're fags, right? Okay, 'cause logic with sentence structure at all costs to avoid, so he tries to make sure other men conform. Let's try that again because I was thinking of actually trying to share this in the live stream. How do I edit the thingy? Do I just have to like go back to it? It's the fun test. Also, lots of gain, little gain. And I'm just going to go back to where I was and I'm just going to check that out later. Can I edit the description in the meantime? That's kind of ooh. All right, so just here's the link to it. Now it appears. Ta-da. All right, changes saved. And I should still be streaming, right? That should still be a thing that launches a new window. Okay, you know what? That's good. Launches a new window and it's there. So there's the link in case you want to read along, because this is just going to get way more about, as the text says, fags. Blah, blah, blah. So where were we? Isolation, gang banging. There we go. Blah, 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 etc. Okay, so let's see. He tries to affirm his manhood by being like all the other men. Differentness in other men as well as himself threatens him. It means they're fags whom he must avoid, whom he must at all costs avoid. Back to the voice. So he tries to make sure that all other men conform. The male dares to be different to the degree that he accepts his passivity and his desire to be female, his fagginess. The farthest out male is the drag queen, but he, although different from most men, is exactly like all the other drag queens, like the functionalist. He has an identity. He is female. He tries to define all his troubles away, but still no individuality. Not completely convinced that he's the woman, highly insecure without being sufficiently female. He conforms compulsively to the man-made stereotype, ending up as nothing but a bundle of stilted mannerisms. Get it? A bundle, a play on the word faggot. He's just nothing but a silly faggot. That's all men are just silly faggots. That's that's the takeaway from the Scum Manifesto, apparently. To be sure he's the man, the male must see to it that the female be clearly a woman, the opposite of a man. That is, the female must act like a faggot. The female must act like a faggot. What the hell? Who writes this shit? Oh, Valerie Solanas. That's who writes this shit. I can't even add fucking satire, witty social political commentary. Like, fail me. The female must act like a faggot. And Daddy's girl, all of whose female instincts were wrenched out of her when little, easily and obligingly adapts to herself to the role. Authority and government, having no sense of right and wrong, no conscience, which can only stem from having an ability to empathize with others, which having a penis excludes you from. Let's be honest, because sexism. Dicks, I lost my conformity, authority, and where the fuck was I? Prejudice? No, based on authority, having no sense. Yep, no sense of right can only form to having ability to emphasize. So having no faith in his non-existent self, being unnecessarily competitive and by nature unable to cooperate, the male feels a need for external guidance and control. So he created authorities, priests, expert bosses, leaders, etc., and government, wanting the female mama to guide him, but unable to accept this fact that he is, after all, a man wanting to play woman to usurp her function as a guider and protector. He sees her and all the authorities of male. I feel like if I do that too much, I'm gonna get in trouble. There's no reason why a society consists of rational beings capable of empathizing with each other, complete and have no natural reason to complete, should have a government, laws, and leaders. Okay. How did this voice? Philosophy, religion, and morality based on facts. It's like this just flows so well with the words. It's the cadence. I'm sorry. It's how you slide in and out of the cadence and keep it smooth. Philosophy, religion, and morality based on facts. The male's inability to relate to anybody or anything makes his life pointless and meaningless. The ultimate male insight is that life is absurd, so he invented philosophy and religion. Being empty, he looks outward and not only for guidance and control, but for salvation and meaning of life. Happiness being for him impossible on this earth, he invented heaven. For a man having no ability to empathize with others and being totally sexual, wrong is sexual license and engaging in deviant, unmanly sexual practices. That is not defending against his passivity and total sexuality, which, if indulged, would destroy civilization, since civilization is based entirely upon the male to need to defend himself against these characteristics. For women, according to man, wrong is any behavior that would entice men into sexual license, that is, not placing male needs above her own and not being a faggot. Like, I feel like I understand what this person's parents did to them, and I'm sorry. As much as I can empathize, empathize. Like, I've had gay family members, and we didn't turn them into this. We're like, all right, that's cool. No kids from you. Hey, you're having kids. Family needs to continue. Family. I mean, it's just like, whatever. Okay, you're cool. You still exist. It's, hey, you're not a bum. You're not a schlub. You're not on the streets. You're getting laid. You seem happy. Fuck it. Whatever. You can be that cool uncle, and then we will happily be a part of your will. For what you don't leave to your favorite pet projects. It's just like, that's what you think is going to happen, and then they become a victim of the opioid crisis. It's hard. So, here's to them, because shit went south. You fucked up. You gone. Love you. But stay there. So, where was I? For salvation, meaning blah, blah, blah. Invented heaven for a man. No ability, fucking sexual license, self not being a faggot. Religion not only provides the male with a goal, heaven, and helps keep women tied to men, but offers rituals through which he can try to expiate. Expiate? I am not familiar with that word. Where he can try to expiate the guilt and shame he feels at not defending himself enough against his sexual impulses. In essence, that guilt and shame he feels at being male, because it's shameful. Back to the dominatrix. It is shameful being a male. You dirty little faggot. Suck that cock. Welcome to quote unquote forced homosexuality, which you paid $250 for an hour. Call me. I'll push your head down. $250 an hour, whatever. I don't want sucking that dick. And I can't touch you or else it's prostitution. It's kind of a fun thing. The whole just like dominatrix sphere and the doming and just the business side of it, all the what you can and cannot do. I mean, it's a lot like being a stripper, but I don't know. Either way, I think Lyft still thinks that I work at a male strip club because I took a wedding party from out of state there once, and it's just, I can't change it. It's just too hilarious. No matter where I work, it's like, yeah, they think yep. You might think I'm the DJ. Oh, yeah. Where was I? Blah, 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 blah. Sexual impulses and guilt and shame that he feels at being male. Most men Most it's there twice, utterly cowardly project their inherent weakness onto women, label them female weaknesses, and believe themselves to have female strengths. Most philosophers, not quite so cowardly, face the fact that make lacks exists in men. This transcription's a bit iffy, but still can't face the fact that they exist in men only. So there, men are different from women. So, so they labeled the male condition the human condition, post their nothingness problem, which horrifies them, as a philosophical dilemma, thereby giving stature to their animalism grandiloquently grandiloquently label their nothingness, their identity problem, and proceed to prattle on pompously about the crisis of the individuals, the essence of being, existence preceding essence, existential modes of being, etc., etc. I'm a fucking ennui, or for the ladies. Yeah. It's not the. Yeah, but then it's not like this is the most like what chick mess. I'm sure some terrible comic has also made that joke like this amateur, but they got paid for it. That's the difference. She's probably terrible. I'm just saying. Sorry. Curious pussy pool. Wait, no, I haven't gotten there yet. Existential modes being, yes, a woman not only takes her identity and individuality for granted, but knows instinctively that the only wrong is to hurt others. And that is the meaning of love. Thus, we should all be socialists. Or else you're hurting people. How could you hurt people? That's not nice. I don't care if they wanted to rape all the white women of Sweden. How could you stop them from doing that? You would have to hurt them to stop them from doing that. And that's not nice. Multi-culti. Where was I? Not being offended. Meaning of life and love. Blah, blah, blah. Crisis of the individual. Shame. Wait. Essence, existential. Yeah. Woman not only takes her identity, but she instinctively knows the only wrong is to hurt others, and that the meaning of life is love. Prejudice, racial, ethnic, religious, etc. The male needs scapegoats onto whom he can project his failings and inadequacies, and upon whom he can vent his frustration at not being female. That's the best. And the vicarious discriminations have the practical advantage of substantially increasing the pussy pool available to the men on top. Because, if we unable to connect to chat, please try again later. What? That's crazy. Is there stuff in the chat that I'm not seeing? What's going on there? It says it's live. I have spent so much time reading this. It's fun. So, where was I? Governments, we should have a government. Laws are leaders. All authorities male. Faggots, daddies, girls. Essential modes that the male needs scapegoats. Men on top. Competition, prestige, status, formal education, ignorance, and social and economic classes. Having an obsessive desire to be admired by women, but no intrinsic worth, the male constructs the male constructs a highly artificial society, enabling him to appropriate the appearance of worth through money, prestige, high social class, degrees, professional position, and knowledge, and by pushing as many other men as possible down professionally, socially, economically, and educationally. The purpose of higher education is not to educate, but to exclude as many as possible from various professions. Yeah. Actually, yes. That's the point. It's like you can't do this. It's not your forte. I'm sorry, we're just not going to trust you with the city's water supply. You are not a good hydrodynamic engineer. You're not even a good plumber. Go fuck yourself. Oh my God. What would please this person? Literally. Would anything? Would anything? Like, back to it. Purpose of the male, totally physical, incapable of mental rapport, although able to understand and use knowledge and ideas, is unable to relate to them, to grasp them emotionally. He does not have and value knowledge and ideas for their own sake. They're just means to an end, and consequently feels no need for mental companions, no need to cultivate the intellectual potentials of others. On the contrary, the male has a vested interest in ignorance. Man, it gives the few knowledgeable men a decided edge on the unknowledgeable ones, and besides, the male knows that an enlightened, aware female population will mean the end of him, and he will rue the day. The healthy, conceited female wants the company of equals whom she can respect and groove on. The male and the sick, insecure, unself-confident male-female crave the company of worms. This bitch just wants the death of humanity. It's like, we should just stop breeding because we become such cunts that we're gonna just destroy everything else. Back to being Karen, right? This place can't exist because I'm a cunt. I said a bad word. If you don't like that word, unlike, unsubscribe, and take away that bell button. Because I say bad words every now and then. It just happens. I'm sorry. Still a cunt, though. Where the stupidity? Okay. No genuine social revolution can be accomplished by the male, as the male on top wants the status quo, and all the males on the bottom wants to be the male on top. The male rebel is a farce. This is the male society made by him to satisfy his needs. He's never satisfied because he's not capable of being satisfied. Ultimately, what the male rebel is rebelling against is being male. The male changes only when forced to do so by technology, when he has no choice, when society reaches the stage where he must change or die. We're at the stage now. If women don't get their asses in gear fast, we may very well all die. God damn it. This just keeps going. It's so fucking stupid. Fuck. Where even was I? And I feel like I've been doing this for over an hour now. This is that painful to get through. Like, I may have to make this a multi-part series. No, I'll just drink some water and soldier on. This is for the sake of humanity. That sounded like water being drunk. Awesome. Who knows if I really did, though? I imagine. Where the fuck I was? God damn. Ultimately, the male rebel is rebelling against is being male. The male only changes when forced to do so by technology and has no choice. When society reaches the masculinity. Look at all them fucks given. They're over here now. Now them fucks are over there. But wait, hold on. Let me give a fuck. Just for a second. Hold on. Give a fuck. Give a fuck. There we go. Fucking given. Where was I? So, man, totally physically. Damn it. Oh, if only I gave a fuck. Shit. I was there. Company of worms rebelling, the male changes when forced to. If women don't get their asses in gear fast, we may very well all die. Prevention of conversation. We need to talk more. Being completely self centered and unable to relate to anything outside himself, the male's conversation, when not about himself, is an impersonal droning on. Removed from anything of human value, male intellectual conversation is a strained, compulsive attempt to impress the female. There's a lot of writers who disagree with you. Daddy's girl, passive, adaptable, respectful, and in awe of the male, allows him to impose his hideously dull chatter on her. This is not too difficult for her, as the tension and anxiety, the lack of cool, the insecurity, and self doubt and unsureness of her own feelings and sensations that Daddy instilled in her make her perceptions superficial and render her unable to see the male's babble as babble like the aesthete appreciating the blobs that labeled great art. She believes she's grooving on what bores the shit out of her. Not only does she permit him his babble to dominate, she adapts her own conversation accordingly. I feel like this is a white Jewish girl trying to act black to seem relevant. Who wrote this? God dang. Again, I'm Jewish and I've known a lot of Jewish women who would totally do that shit. Trained from an early childhood in niceness, politeness, and dignity, in pandering to the male need to disguise his animalism, she obligingly reduces her own conversation to small talk, to a bland, insipid avoidance of any topic beyond the utterly trivial, or is educated to intellectual discussion. That is impersonal discoursing on irrelevant distractions. The gross national product. Bitch, common market, the influence of Rimbaud on symbolist painting. Oh, I'm gonna smack a bitch. So adept is she at pandering that she eventually becomes second nature, and she continues to pander to men even in the company of other females only. Yeah, yeah. This feminist wants women to not understand anything. Apart from pandering, her conversation is further limited by her insecurity about expressing deviant and original opinions, and self-absorption based on insecurity, and that prevents her conversation from being charming. Niceness, politeness, dignity, insecurity, and self-absorption are hardly conducive to intensity and wit. Qualities conversation must have to be worthy of the name. Such conversation is hardly rampant as only completely self-confident, arrogant, outgoing, proud, tough-minded females of capable of bitchy, witty conversation. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, rubbing one out. Oh, yeah. Fuck's sake. Prevention of friendship, love. Men have contempt for themselves, for all other women when they contemplate more than casually, and men who do not think our females for and men who they do not think are females, for example, sympathetic analysts and great artists or agents of God, and for all women who respect and pander to them, the insecure approval-seeking pandering male females have contempt for themselves, and for all women like them, the self-confident, swinging, thrill-thinking females have contempt for me and for the pandering male females. In short, contempt is the order of the day. Yeah? It's kind of which... God, this really is Feminist Manifesto. Love is not dependency or sex, but friendship, and therefore love can't exist between two males. Really? Because I'm pretty sure the Greeks thought that love could only exist between males, and that women were, they're cute and all, and hopefully they pop out a male so that the amount of females can go down, but sometimes a female is necessary, though all of us can use the same female in turn, or every female can use the same male, but they can only use usury. This is why usury is bad. Don't use people. Love them. Let them, make them feel happy. Give the head pats. Oh my God, the things I do for humanity. Back to this shit. Where the fuck was I in stating a lot of the obvious realities that this bitch wants to ignore? Love is not dependency or sex, but friendship, and therefore love cannot exist between two males, between a male and a female, or between two females, one or both of whom is a mindless, insecure, pandering male. Like confident, swinging, thrill seeking females have contempt for me, and the pandering male females, in short, contempt is the word of the day. Wait, no, I just totally jumped up. That, where's it? What? Fuck it. Like conversation, love is not dependency, blah, 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 blah. One or both of whom is mindless, insecure, pandering male. Like conversation, you know what? Another, it's supposed to be life. Life can only exist between two secure, freewheeling, independent, groovy female, since friendship is based upon respect, not contempt. Yes, we get it. You're a lesbian. Even amongst groovy females, deep friendships seldom occur in adulthood, as almost all of them are either too tied up with men in order to survive economically or bogged down in hacking their way through the jungle and in trying to keep their heads about the amorphous math. Love can't flourish in society based on money and meaningless work. It requires complete economic as well as personal freedom, leisure time, and the opportunity to engage in intensely absorbing, emotionally satisfying activities, which, when shared with those you respect, lead to deep friendship. Our society provides practically no opportunity to engage in such activities. I feel like this woman actually hates women. I'm getting to that point. Like, just rips on everything feminine, and it's like being a human. But I love female. We all the men love females, and that's why we're here for you. Call today, 2:15 hour. Society prize no such activities. Having stripped the world of conversation, friendship, and love, the male offers us these paltry substitutes. Oh my fucking god. Great art and culture. The male artist attempts to solve his dilemma of not being able to live, of not being female, by constructing a highly artificial world in which the male is heroized, that is, displays female traits, and the female is reduced to a highly limited, insipid subordinate roles, that is, to being male. I, I, ah. The male artistic aim being not to communicate, having nothing inside him, he has nothing to say, but to disguise his animalism, he resorts to symbolism and obscurity, deep stuff. The vast majority of people, particularly the educated ones, lacking faith in their own judgment, humble, respectful of authority, daddy knows best, are easily conned into believing that obscurity, evasiveness, incomprehensibility, indirectness, ambiguity, and boredom are marks of depth and brilliance. Great art proves that men are superior to women, that men are women, being labeled great art, almost all of which, as the anti-feminists are fond of reminding us, was created by men. We know that great art is great because male authorities have told us so. We can't claim otherwise, as only those with exquisite sensitivities far superior to ourselves can perceive and appreciate the slop they appreciated. And again, this bitch hates women because women don't know pretty shiny shit when they see it. That's why we fucking made it. To impress women. And other men. Not always other women. Sometimes his asshole is much more enticing than yo rank pussy, bitch. Okay. So, where the fuck we was? Appreciating is the sole diversion of the cultivated, passive, and incompetent, lacking imagination and the wit they must try to make do with that, unable to create their own diversions, to create little worlds of their own, to affect the smallest way in their environments. They must accept what's given, unable to create or relate. They speculate absorbing culture is a desperate, frantic attempt to groove and ungroove a world, to escape the horror of sterility, mindless existence. Culture provides a sop of the egos, the incompetent, a means of rationalizing passive spectating. They can pride themselves on their ability to appreciate the finer things, to see a jewel where this is the only a third,
They want to be admired for admiring, lacking faith in their ability to change anything, resigned to the status quo. They have to see beauty in turds because, so far as they can see, turds are all they ever have. The veneration of alt art the veneration of art and culture, besides leading many women into boring, passive activity that distracts from more important and rewarding activities, from cultivating active abilities, and leads to the constant intrusion on our sensibilities of pompous dissertations on the deep beauty of this that turns. This allows the artist to be set up as one possessing superior feelings, perceptions, insights, and judgments, thereby undermining the faith of insecure women in the value and validity of their own feelings, perceptions, insights, and judgments. So I'm guessing this bitch, sorry, this righteous female who is indignant for all the correct reasons. Okay, this is righteous anger. Okay, she was fucked over by an artist, and now she's like, you know what? I'm just fuck men. I'm done with them. And if men got pissed off by some female artist, which, oh my God, you all are. Oh my God. And went gay, we just not have any babies because, I mean, y'all can hold us down, but how would you just don't, ah, way too much Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman lately. It's fun. Comic Historian. Very good. All right. Where in this stupid crap was I? God, this is bad. This is just. Where was I? The vulnerable art culture, blah, blah, blah. Grouping, male artist. What? Validity inside just a deep, persistent. The male having a very limited range of emotions, consequently very limited perceptions, insights, and judgments, needs the artist to guide him, to tell him what life is all about. But the male artist, being totally sexual, unable to relate to anything beyond his own physical sensations. God, she was just, yeah, having, unless Valerie's a guy, having nothing to express beyond the insight for the male. Life is meaningless and absurd, cannot be an artist. How can he who is not capable of life tell us what life is about? A male artist is a contradiction in terms. A degenerate can only produce degenerate art. MAGA? May thy memes be dreams. Amen. The true artist is every self-confident, healthy female in a female society. The only art, the only culture will be conceited, kooky, funky females females grooving on each other and on everything else in the universe. Sexuality. Sex is not a part of a relationship. On the contrary, it is the solitary experience, non-creative, a gross waste of time. The female can easily, far more easily than she may think, condition away her sex drive, leaving her completely cool and cerebral and free to pursue truly worthy relationships and activities. But the male, who seems to dig women sexually, who seeks out constantly to arouse them, stimulates the highly sexed female to frenzies of lust, throwing her into a sex bag from which few women ever escape. The fuck is a sex bag? The lecherous male, excited in the lustful female, he has to. Sorry, and for the women. He has to. When the female transcends her body, rises above animalism, the male whose ego consists of his cock will disappear. Sex is the refuge of the mindless, and the more mindless the woman, the more deeply embedded in the male culture. In short, the nicer she is, the more sexual she is. The nicest women in our society are raving sex maniacs. That is absolutely not true. I'm just, no. It's very rarely the case, if ever. Where was I? Condition aware sex drive, highly sexed female frenzies, less cock, disappear, refuge, just maniacs. But being just awfully
Awfully nice. They don't, of course, descend to fucking. That's uncouth. Rather, they make love, commune by means of their bodies, and establish sensual rapport. The literary ones are attuned to the throb of Eros and attain a clutch upon the universe. The religious have spiritual communion with the divine sensualism. The mystics merge with the erotic principle and blend with the cosmos, and the acid heads contact their erotic selves. On the other hand, those females least embedded in the male culture, the least nice, those crass and simple souls who reduce fucking to fucking, who are too childish for the grown-up world of suburbs, mortgages, mops, and baby shit, too selfish to raise kids and husbands, too uncivilized to give a shit for anyone's opinion of them, too arrogant to respect daddy, the greats or the deep wisdom of the ancients who trust only their own animal gutter instincts, who equate culture with chicks, whose sole diversion is prowling for emotional thrills and excitement, who are given disgusting, nasty, upsetting scenes, hateful, violent bitches, given to slamming those who unduly irritate them to the teeth, who I should breathe more often. Whew. That made me dry. Girl, you just don't understand. Like, this is a lot, and we're still, like, I really, really probably need to break this up or something, because dear God, there's just so much. I don't understand why it's just, like, unable to the... Wow, there's Curly. Whew. Hey, girl, what's up? So, where was I? Oh, we're finally. Oh, wow. There's the freaking title. Okay, so blah 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 blah. Bad, childish, grown-up, suburbs, etc. Groovy, blah 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 blah. Dude, respect daddy, great deep wisdom of the ancients who only in their own animal instinct culture. Hold on. Sex drive, mind. Right. On the other hand, those females least embedded in the male culture, at least the least nice, those crass and simple souls who reduce fucking to fucking, who are too childish for the grown-up world of suburbs, mortgages, baby shit, selfish, uncivilized to give a shit for, too uncivilized to give a shit for anyone's opinion of them, too arrogant to respect daddy, the great deep wisdom of the agents who only trust their own animal gutter instincts, who equate culture with chicks, whose sole diversion is prowling for emotional thrills and excitement, who are given to disgusting, nasty, upsetting scenes, hateful, violent bitches, going to slumming those who unduly irritate them in the teeth, who'd sink a shiv into a man's chest or ram an ice pick up his asshole as soon as look at him if they knew they could get away with it. In short, those who, by the standards of our culture, are scum. Wow, so it takes literally this long to get to those women who literally want to murder men, who want to do away with men. They're viewed as scum, so this is their manifesto. Fuck me. Where were we? If they knew they could get away with it. In short, those by who the standards of our society are scum. Those females are cool and relatively cerebral and skirting asexuality. Yeah, asexual. It's an identity. LGBTQXYZAARP plus 5 times raised to the squared 4. Yeah. Unhampered by propriety, niceness, discretion, public opinion, morals, the respective assholes, always funky, dirty, low down scum, yay, gets around and around and around, and they've seen the whole show, every bit of it, the fucking scene, the dyke scene. Okay, yes, clearly we get it. You're right. You've seen it. Been there. Done that. Stop. Where were we? Running around dyke scene.
They've covered the whole waterfront, been under every dock and pier, the Peter Pier, the Pussy Pier. You've got to go through a lot of sex to get to anti-sex, and Scum's been through it all. They're now ready for a new show, and this is your voice of that bitch who works at the female health clinic. Yeah, this is what she's all about. They want to crawl out from the dock, move, take off, sink out, but Scum doesn't yet prevail. Scum's still in the gutter of our society, which, if it's not, is deflected from its present course, and if the bomb doesn't drop, will hump itself to death. Oh my god, no wonder everyone hates Karen and Becky. This is what she sounds like. This is women. If you're on the left, if you're voting for creepy child sniffy Uncle Joe, this is the crap you're supporting. Boredom. Life in a society made by and for creatures who, when they are not grim and depressing, are utter bores. Van only be, when not grim and depressing, an utter bore. Sorry, can only be. It says Van. Secrecy, censorship. Secrecy, censorship, suppression of knowledge and ideas, and exposes. Exposes. That sentence makes me think I need more. Let's do it. We're just going to have some fun on live stream. So, every male's deep-seated, secret, and most hideous fear is of being discovered to not be a female. What gave it away? But a male, a subhuman animal, although niceness, politeness, and dignity suffice to prevent his exposure on a personal level in order to prevent the general exposure of the male sex as a whole and to maintain his unnatural dominant position in society, the male must resort to another fucking list. All right, woman. Let's hear your next fucking list. This is why men end up sucking cock. We're just so tired of you. Censorship. Responding reflexively to isolated works and phrases rather than cerebrally to overall meanings, the male attempts to prevent the arousal and discovery of his animalism by censoring not only pornography, but any work containing dirty words, no matter what context they are used. Suppression. Number 2, suppression of all ideas and knowledge that might expose him or threaten his dominant position in society. Much biological and psychological data is suppressed because it is proof of the male's gross inferiority to the female. Also, the problem of mental illness will never be solved while the male contains control because first, men have vested interest in it. Only females who have very few of their marbles will allow males the slightest bit of control over anything. The second, a male cannot admit that the role of fatherhood plays in causing mental illness. You know what? Let's go back to that. The male cannot admit to the role that fatherhood plays in causing mental illness. Kids are hard enough. And then there's women. Kids can be understood. Women, y'all get offended when we do. Let's be honest. Where were we? Oh, look, they mentioned Russia. Fantastic. 3, exposes. Exposes? It says exposes. I assume there's supposed to be an accent. The male's chief delight in life, insofar as the 10th grim male can ever be said to delight in anything, because men are just sexist. This author's a sexist. Is in exposing others. It doesn't much matter what they're exposed to, so long as they're exposed. It distracts attention from himself, exposing others as enemy agents, communists and socialists. Not surprising they'd have an issue with those titles. is one of his favorite pastimes, as it removes the source of the threat to him, not only from himself but from the country and the Western world. The bugs up his ass aren't in him; they're in Russia. God damn it! Where have we heard all of this before?
Distrust. Unable to empathize or feel affection or loyalty, being exclusively out for himself, the male has no sense of fair play, cowardly, needing constantly to pander to the female to win her approval. That he is helpless without, always on the edge lest his animalism, his maleness be discovered, always needing to cover up. He must lie constantly, being empty. He has not honor or integrity. I hate men. He doesn't know what those words mean. The male, in short, is treacherous in the only appropriate attitude in a male society is cynicism and distrust. I mean, like, I feel like this bitch wrote this before she had like a really hardcore lesbian breakup, because those are brutal, usually violent, unfortunately. Israel attitude, ugliness, being totally sexual, incapable of cerebral or aesthetic responses, totally materialistic and greedy. The male, besides inflicting on the world the great art, has decorated his unlandscaped cities with ugly buildings, and both inside and out, ugly decors, billboards, highways, cars, garbage trucks, and most notably his own putrid self. Hatred and violence. The male is eaten up with tension, with frustration at not being female, at not being capable of ever choosing satisfaction or pleasure of any kind, eaten up with hate, not rational hate that is directed at those who abuse or insult you, but irrational, indiscriminate hate at bottom of his own worthless self. Gratuitous violence, besides proving he is a means, serves as an outlet of his hate, and in addition, the male being capable of sexual responses and needing very strong stimuli to stimulate his half-dead self provides him with very little sexual thrill. I feel like this is getting easier the less I actively think about all of this. Disease and death. Because this is so bad. And this influences people. And it hurts. Why is anyone buying this crap? Hatred and violence. The male is eaten up with tension, with frustration, not being female, worthless self, gratuitous violence, proving to be amended. Okay, yeah, disease and death. There we go. Disease and death. Wait, no. Gratuitous violence, besides proving he is the man, serves an outlet of hate. In addition, the male being capable of having sexual response and needing very strong stimuli to stimulate his half-dead self, providing him with little sexual thrill. Disease and death. All desires are curable, and the aging process and death are due to disease. It is possible, therefore, never to age and live forever. In fact, the problem of aging and death could be solved within a few years if an all-out massive scientific assault were made upon the problem. This, however, will not occur with the male establishment because, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm just gonna have a half shot every time there's a fucking list because already taken out the garbage. Can you harp on something else? God damn it. Damn it. That was a fun resonance. Okay. Back to this crap. Oh my god, I can't wait to go to bed after this crap. No, I'm not doing this in the second video. Back to another fucking list. Number 1. The many male scientists who shy away from biological research, terrified of the discovery that males are females, and show marked preference for virile, manly war and death programs. 2. The discouragement of many potential scientists from scientific careers by the rigidity, boringness, expensiveness, time-consumingness, and unfair exclusivity of our higher educational system. 3. Propaganda disseminated by insecure male professionals who jealously guard their positions so that only a highly select few can comprehend abstract scientific concepts. There's 4. Widespread lack of self-confidence brought about by the father system that discourages many talented girls from becoming scientists.
No one's discouraging it. Believe me. Lack of automation. 5. There now exists a wealth of data which, if sorted out and correlated, would reveal the cure for cancer and several other diseases and possibly the key to life itself. But the data is so massive it requires high-speed computers to correlate it all. The institution of computers will be delayed indeterminately under male control systems as the male has the horror of being replaced by machines. Except that the guy who comes up with that will be the most fuckable guy on earth. So it's the holy grail if we believe anything that's been said up till this point. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Where the fuck were we? 6. The money system's insatiable needs for new products. Most of the few scientists around who aren't working on death programs are tied up into doing research for corporations. 7. The males like death. It excites him sexually. And already dead inside, he wants to die. 8. The bias of the money system for the least creative scientists. Most scientists come from at least relatively affluent families where daddy reigns supreme. When will this end? Oh my God. I want this to end as much as you do. Incapable of a positive state of happiness, which is the only thing that can justify one's existence, the male is at best relaxed, comfortable, neutral, and in a condition of extremely short-lived as boredom. A negative state soon sets in. He is therefore doomed to an existence of suffering, relieved only by occasional fleet stretching of restfulness, which state he can only achieve at the expense of some female. Not his own expense, selling his time. The male is, by his very nature, a leech, an emotional parasite, and therefore not ethically entitled to love, as no one has the right to life at someone else's expense. But if you're trying to murder me, if you're trying to kill me, and you won't give up if I don't stop you, that's welcome to war. Because if I don't stop you and your friend, God damn it. Just God damn it. Where were we? Just as humans have the prior right to existence over dogs by virtue of being more highly evolved and having a superior consciousness, so women have a prior right to existence over men. The elimination of any male is therefore a righteous and good act, an act highly beneficial to women as well as an act of mercy. I feel like my channel might get shut down because I'm reading off of a feminist manifesto calling for the death and murder of men. That's okay. The left agrees with it, so they won't do shit. Just watch. However, this moral issue will eventually be rendered academic by the fact that the male is gradually eliminating himself in addition to engaging in the time-honored and classical wars and race riots. Men are more and more either becoming fags or obliterating themselves through drugs. The female, whether she likes it or not, will eventually take complete charge if for no other reason that she will have to. The male, for practical purposes, won't exist. Right. These idiots. Accelerating this trend. Hear me. I'm an accelerationist. No surprise there. Not at all. Accelerating this trend is the fact that more and more males are acquiring enlightened self-interest. They're realizing more and more that the female interest is their interest and that they can only live through the female, and that the more the female is encouraged to live, to fulfill herself, to be a female and not a male, the more he lives. He's coming to see that it's easier and more satisfactory to live through her than to try to become her and usurp her qualities, claim them as his own, push the female down, and claim that she's a male. The fag who accepts his maleness, that is, his passivity and total sexuality, his femininity, is also best served by women being truly female, as it would then be easier for him to be male feminine. If men were wise, they would seek to become really female, would do intensive biological research that would lead to me, by means of operations on the brain and nervous system, being able to be transformed in psyche as well as body into women. So is Valerie a trans person? And this is all just, oh my God, I hope modern feminism was written out by a self-hating male. But it would still be a man who wrote it. And God damn it. I hope it's a woman, just for women's sake. They need something. But this has been so far stupid enough to be written by a guy. Like, I can believe that someone with a penis wrote this trying to get laid. Because I've known guys who just could not suck enough cock to please the woman, or just left to society as a whole. Like, they were married and the wife was just like, I want to see you kiss another dude and like butt stuff and all that stuff. I would masturbate and be happy. Granted, she was into girl on girl stuff and he really enjoyed that. He also really enjoyed directing his own cuckolding. It's kind of adorable. It's like, he's like, yeah, I want to see it from this angle. And it's just like, yeah, bro, move. You can look. I'm just here fucking your girl for your entertainment. Yeah, that's what's happening. Great job, bro. You know who I'm talking about. So, where are we? Also, they still don't have kids, and I'm pretty sure he's been hooking up with more dudes than, well, she has, because it's one of those unfair relationships where he gets all the dick he wants, but she can't get other dicks. It's just not fair. Why does he get to suck cock and she doesn't? You know, he's always doing things that she can't because it's for the betterment of the relationship, in which case he's the toxic male that this fucking thing is talking about. Fuck him trying to get all the dick when she could have the dick. Right. That's the takeaway from this thing I'm reading. We're almost done. I'm going to shut the fuck up and get back to it. I'm not going to shut the fuck up, but I am going to get back to it. Bloody. We like to party. Production of females, generation to succeed us. Emotional cripples. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Reproduction of babies, accelerating. Oh, yeah, there we are. Accelerating this trend is the fact that more and more males are including line, blah, 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 realizing more and more their interests, blah, 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 etc., etc. Females leaving to fulfill herself to be female, not male, and to be morally he loves. He is coming to see that it's easier, more satisfactory to live through her than trying to become her and usurp her qualities, claiming them as his own, push the female down and claim that she's a male. Like, ladies, we love you for everything that you do that we can't and won't and couldn't. Y'all are awesome. And we love you for it. We also like being able to pee standing up and not having periods. There's also that. The fag who accepts his maleness, that is passivity and loyalty. I already read this part. Blah, 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 blah. To be transformed psychically into a woman. Yeah, fuck it. We'll just go from there. Whether to continue to use females for reproduction or to reproduce in the laboratory will also become academic. What will happen when every female 12 and older is routinely taking the pill and there are no longer any accidents? Oh my God. Oh, it was just an accident. How many women will deliberately, get, or if an accident, remain pregnant? No, Virginia. Ironically, Virginia, fuck Northam, the guy who was in blackface or a KKK outfit, depending on which you hate more, he can't remember. So, just don't worry about it because he's a Democrat and that's cool. Where were we? Starting to catch up with me. Gosh darn, alcohols. Where are we? Blah, blah, blah. Becoming fags. No, that's no. We're incapable of positive state of happiness. Wait, no. Broodmares. I use that too. Nope. Also become academic. What would become of every female 12 and older who's routinely taking the pill and there are no longer any accidents? How many women will deliberately get or blah, 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 say remain pregnant? No, Virginia. Women don't just adore being broodmares, despite what the mass of robot brainwashed women will say. When society consists of only the fully conscious, the answer will be none. No women want to have children. All women just want to be lesbians. According to this author, I guess. Should a certain percentage of men be set aside by force to serve as broodmares for the species? Obviously, this will not do. The answer is laboratory reproduction of babies. Eugenics, just wants straight up eugenics. As for the issue of what, like, is Valerie Solanas a fucking Nazi? Like, is that what I'm reading? Is this a Nazi feminist manifesto? Like, what the absolute fuck is this? Like, let's be completely honest here. Like, this is absurd. So where the fuck was I? This is so dumb. No, not that part yet. Just a woman set aside. Obviously, not the laboratory. Right. Okay. Test tube babies. As for the issue of whether or not to continue to reproduce males, it doesn't follow that because the male, like disease, has always existed among us and that he should continue to exist when genetic control is possible, as soon it will be. It goes without saying that we should reproduce only whole, complete beings, not physical defects of deficiencies, including emotional deficiencies such as maleness. This is what feminists talk about. This is what they think of you. And they call you a sexist. They call you the bigot. Keep this shit in mind. This is the basis of, like, what, third, fourth wave feminism? I'm trying to get through it. It's just such garbage. This is absolute garbage. I thought this is kind of what I thought it would be. God damn it. Emotional deficiencies, including emotional deficiencies and maleness, just as the deliberate production of blind people would be highly immoral, it would be the deliberate production of emotional cripples. So don't make blind children. If you have a blind children, abort them, just like if you have a male child, abort them, according to this crap. Why produce even females? Why should there be future generations? Again, we get it. You're a lesbian. What is their purpose? When aging and death are eliminated, why continue to reproduce? Why should we care what happens when we're dead? Why should we care that there are no younger generations to succeed us? Eventually, the natural course of events of social evolution will lead to total female control of the world and subsequently to the cessation of the production of males and ultimately to the cessation of production of females. Will just be weird Barbie doll, Ken doll, no anything, having gray suit wearing, staring up at the sky, just mouth open, and that's existence. Yeah. Eventually, the natural course of events to social evolution will lead to the total female control of the world and subsequently to the cessation of the production of males and ultimately the cessation of production of females. All right, back to the title of Scum. But Scum is impatient. Scum is not consoled by the thought that the future generations will thrive. Scum wants to grab some thrilling living for itself, and if a large majority of women were Scum, they could acquire complete control of this country within a few weeks by simply withdrawing from the labor force, thereby paralyzing the entire nation. Additional measures, any one of which would be sufficient to completely disrupt the economy and everything else, would be for women to declare themselves off the money system, stop buying, just loot, and simply refuse to obey all laws and don't care to obey. We would just charge the man responsible for you, if not your husband, then your father. Let's be real. The police force, National Guard, Army, Navy, and Marines combined couldn't squelch the rebellion of over half the population, particularly when it's made up of people who are utterly helpless without. If all women simply left, men refused to have anything to do with them ever, all men, the government, the national economy would collapse completely, even without leaving men. Women who are aware of the extent of the superiority to and power over men could acquire complete control over everything within a few weeks, could effect total submission of males to females. There's a joke of literally that, where it's like a little boy and a little girl used to hang out all the time, and the little boy, blah, 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 whipped out his dick and said, I have one of these. And the little girl looked down and started crying and ran home saying, I don't have one of those. And she was confused. So the little boy didn't see the little girl for weeks on end. And so he's thinking, I'm going to get her this time. Yeah. Hey, I have one of these. Whips down his pants. The little girl whipped down her pants and says, well, my mommy said that because I have one of these, I can get all of those I want. So yours is nothing special. Ha ha ha. It's cute. Kids don't get it. Etc. So, we're back to the manifesto bullshit. If all women simply blah blah blah, etc. Blah blah blah. Government. If all women simply left, men refused to have anything to do with any of them ever, all men, the government, the national economy would collapse completely. Yeah, we would really have no reason to do a lot of it. Like our own comfort, we could give a shit less about, but whatever makes her happy and makes her complain less, we'll happily move mountains and accomplish ridiculous shit. A lot of times just to shut you the fuck up. Mostly to make you happy. We'd love it if you were happy. You're never fucking happy no matter what we do. No matter what. Obviously, I'm kidding though. But where were we? Because in the sane society. No, this is not. The male is in fact desperately what the fuck? Actually, wait, no, it's the right spot. In a sane society, the male would trot along obediently after the female, back to being a dominatrix. And losing my spot again. There we go. The male is docile and easily led, easily subjected to the domination of any female who cares to dominate him. Yes. Also, a lot of us would love to see you try, but at the same time, yes, fuck it. Whatever keeps you around. We're willing to make you happy. No matter how much you fucking suck. Like, how many married men are happy? Is it the women, or is it because they're terrible, or is it because women are completely unaccountable for anything they ever do? Because we fucking love you. We do. We do. You're lovely. And you put up with us. And it's great. And if you didn't put up with us, we would put up with us and just get over you. Maybe this person is right. Maybe we don't need sexual reproduction or females. Entire premise flipped on itself? Shit. Who do you think came up with the science? Who do you think did it? Oh my God. We're almost done. We're getting there. Getting there. Females as worms. Fat, hairy face. No. White House, what? No. 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 Total submission. No. Help us without. There we go. Where the extent of could acquire complete control over everything within a few weeks. Yeah. So blah, blah, blah. Even without leaving men, women who are aware of The extent of their superiority and power over men could acquire complete control over everything within a few weeks, which you really already have. Could affect a total submission of males to females. In a sane society, the male would trot along immediately after the female. Yes. Also go to Kink University or Dom University. It's in the Mistress Goddess Phoenix. You would love her. The male is docile, easily led, subjected to domination, who all female who care to dominate him. The male, in fact, wants desperately to be led by females, wants mama in charge, wants to abandon himself to her care. Yeah, we'd love to not have to give a shit, but you know what? We'd also love mama to appreciate that, especially mama of our babies who we're going to be out getting stuff for. So if someone could keep an eye on them for us, that'd be great. This is not a sane society, and most women are not even dimly aware of where they're at in relation to men. The conflict, therefore, is not between females and males, but between scum, dominant, secure, self-confident, nasty, violent, selfish, independent, proud, thrill-seeking, freewheeling, arrogant females who consider themselves fit to rule the universe. Welcome to Burning Man. Who have free will to the limits of the society and are ready to wheel on to something far beyond what this has to offer. A nice, passive, accepting, cultivated, polite, dignified, subdued, and dependent, not independent, dependent. Scared, mindless, insecure, approval-seeking daddy's girls who can't cope with the unknown, who want to hang back with the apes, who feel secure only with Big Daddy standing by. Reality's a bitch sometimes. With a big, strong man to lean on with the fat, hairy face in the White House, we were all too cowardly to face up to the hideous reality of what a man is, who daddy is, who have cast their lot with the swine, the deplorables, who have adapted themselves to animalism, feel superficially comfortable with it, no other way of life, who have reduced their minds and thoughts and sights to the male level, who lack sense, imagination, wit, can have value only in male society, who can have a place in the sun, or rather in the slime, only as soothers, ego boosters, relaxers, and breathers, who are dismissed as inconsequence by other females who project their deficiencies, their maleness, onto females and see the female as worm. Excuse me. Oh my God. My throat is so dry. All the dryness. Excuse me. And we're still live. We are. Yep, still alive. Dear God. Females as worms, soothers, ego boosters, relaxers. Yes, females as worms. But Scum is too impatient to wait for the de-brainwashing of millions of assholes. And that's why feminism failed, and Q did fantastic. Because we were not impatient. Mostly because we're patriots. Has nothing to do with our gender. Patriots don't have gender or colors. Millions of assholes. Why should the swinging females continue to plod dismally along with the dull male ones? Why should the fates of the groovy and the creepy be intertwined? Biden. Sorry, just creepy. You know. Why should the active and imaginative consult the passive and dull on social policy? Why should the dependent be confined to sewer along with the dependent who need daddy to cling to? A small handful of scum can take over the country within a year by systematically fucking up the system, selectively destroying property and murder. This is what feminists believe. This is what they read. This is their motivation while they try to tell you this is what you want. Person who calls them out on their fucking bullshit. Scum will become members. This is all caps. STUM. Scum will become members of the unwork force, the fuck up force. They will get jobs of various kinds and unwork. For example, Scum sales girls will not charge for merchandise, so stealing and abetting. Scum telephone operators will not charge for calls. This is some Antifa bullshit. Scum office and factory workers, in addition to fucking up their work, will secretly destroy equipment. Scum will unwork at a job until fired and then get a new job to unwork at. And then they join the Democrat Party, and we're just the slow rollers that were keeping Chump in check. Remember all them from the Project Veritas? It's the thing. Scum will forcibly relieve bus drivers, cab drivers, and subway token sellers of their jobs and run buses and cabs and dispense free tokens to the public. Yay! Transit for all. Scum will destroy useless, harmful objects, cars, stores, windows, great art, etc. They will tear down the statues. Is it starting to sound familiar? Eventually, Scum will take over the airwaves, radio, and TV networks, which they've kind of done by forcibly relieving of their jobs all radio and TV employees who would impede Scum's entry into the broadcasting studios. Now, you can say this about leftists, or some would say it about we Jews, but you know what? It's not our fault you weren't paying attention. Go fuck yourself, boy. Go fuck yourself, boy. Scum will couple bust, barge into mixed male-female couples wherever they are and bust them up. Home wreckers. You salty cunts. Scum will kill all men, really, who are not in the men's auxiliary of Scum, all the allies. Men in the, oh, you know what, the acronym shit. LGBTXYQXYZ PDQ squared. Men in the men's auxiliary, or male allies, are those men who are working diligently to eliminate themselves, men who, regardless of their motives, do good, men who are playing pal with Scum, playing Paul with Scum, playing ball. Wow, this transliteration is shit. Also, just cut your dicks off, bros, then you can truly be accepted. I mean, that's what they fucking want. That's what they fucking want. We all know it. A few examples of men in the men's auxiliary are men who kill men. Yay, feminism. This is what you believe. Biological scientists who are working on constructive programs as opposed to biological warfare. Really. Journalists, writers, editors, publishers, and producers who disseminate and promote ideals that will lead to the achievement of Scum's goals. Faggots who, by their shimmering, flaming example, encourage other men to demand themselves and thereby make themselves relatively inoffensive. Like, this is a way to take over a country. Just convince all the men to do what this bitch is saying. And then, as I find the spot where I leave off. Demand themselves and thereby demand themselves and thereby make themselves relatively inoffensive. Men who consistently give things away, money, things, services. Men who women just want free shit from men. It's still the same. Oh, you just don't want to have to. What do you think services for men tell like it is? So far, not that one ever has. Who put women straight, who reveal the truth about themselves, who give the mindless females correct sentences to parrot, to let them in the women's primary goal in life should be to squash the male sex, to aid men in this endeavor. Scum will conduct turd sessions at which every male present will give a speech beginning with the sentence, I am a turd, a lowly, abject turd, then proceed to list all the ways in which he is, and then give me $250 an hour. His reward for doing so will be the opportunity to fraternize after the session for a whole solid hour with the Scum who will be present. We leftists, you can win a chance to get our attention and approval and acceptance. Go fuck yourself. This is why no one likes you. Nice, clean living male women will be invited to this sessions to help clarify any doubts and misunderstandings they may have about the male sex makers and promoters of sex books and movies, etc. We're hastening the day when all will be shown on the screen will be suck and fuck. Males like rats loud the Pied Piper will be lured by pussy to their doom. Yep. And this is why we don't trust y'all cheating lying bitches. Will be overcome and submerged by and will eventually drown in the passive flesh that they are. Drug pushers and advocates who are hastening the dropping of men. Oh my God. There's still the scroll bar lies. It does. Being in the men's auxiliary is a necessary but not sufficient condition for making Scum's escape list. It is not enough to do good to save the worthless ass men. It
It is not enough to do good. To save their worthless asses, men must also avoid evil. A few examples of the most obnoxious or harmful types are rapists, politicians, and all who in their service, campaigners, members of political parties, etc., lousy singers and musicians, chairmen of boards, breadwinners, landlords, owners of greasy spoons in restaurants that play music, great artists, cheap pikers, oi, the pikeys, and welshers, cops, tycoon scientists working on death and destruction programs or for private industry, practically all scientists, liars, and phonies, disc jockeys, men who intrude themselves in the slightest way on any strange female, real estate men, stockbrokers, men who speak when they have nothing to say, men who sit idly on the street and mar the landscape with their presence, double dealers, flim-flam artists, litterbugs, plagiarizers, men who in the slightest way harm any female, all men in the advertising industry, psychiatrists, clinical psychologists, dishonest writers, journalists, editors, publishers, etc., censors on both public and private levels, all members of the armed forces, including draftees, the LBJ, and McNamara give orders, but servicemen carry them out, and particularly pilots. If the bomb drops, LBJ won't drop it, the pilot will. In the case of a man whose behavior falls in both the good and bad categories, an overall subjective evaluation of him will be made to determine if his behavior is in the balance of good or bad. It is most tempting to pick off the female great artists, liars, and phonies, etc., along with men, but that would be expedient, as would not be clear to most of the public that the female killed was a male. That sentence was nonsense, and no wonder it was hard to get through. All women have a fake streak in them to a greater or lesser degree, but it stems from a lifetime of living among men. Eliminate men and women will shape up. Women are improvable, men are not. Though their behavior is, when scum gets hot in their asses, it'll shape up fast. It's hot on their asses. When scum gets hot in their asses, it'll shape up fast. Simultaneously with the fucking, uploading, couple busting, destroying, and killing, scum will recruit. Like, seriously, scum equals Antifa. Like, this is just Antifa. Scum then will consist of recruiters, the elite core, the hardcore activists, the fuck up looters and destroyers, the elite of the elite, the killers. Yeah, the hardcore Antifa members. Where's the shit? Dropping out is not the answer. Fucking up is. Most women are already dropped out. They were never in. Dropping out gives control to those few who don't drop out. Dropping out is exactly what the establishment leaders want. It plays into the hands of the enemy. It strengthens the systems instead of undermining it. Since it is based entirely on non-partisan, non-participating passivity, apathy, and non-involvement of the masses, women dropping out, however, is an excellent policy for men, and Scum enthusiastically encourage it. Really. Looking inside yourself for salvation, contemplating your navel is not, as the dropout people would have you believe, the answer. Happiness lies outside yourself. It is achieved through interacting with others. Self-forgetfulness should be one's goals, not self-absorption. The male capable of only the latter makes the virtue of irremediable fault and sets up self-absorption as only as good as a philosophical good, and thus gets credit for being deep. Just like that sentence. Scum will not picket, demonstrate, march, or strike in attempt to achieve its goals, to attempt to achieve its ends. Such tactics are for nice, genteel ladies who scrupulously take out only such action as is guaranteed to be ineffective. In addition, only decent, clean-living male women. This is so dumb. Highly trained in submerging themselves in the species of mob basis, but this is literally like the basis of like the male women. It's like you're not female enough, you're too masculine, it's toxic. Like, this is where this crap came from. Scum consists of individual. Was that right? Male, women, trained to spread. Yeah. Scum consists of individuals. Scum is not a mob, a blob. Only as many scum will do a job as are needed for the job. Also, scum, being cool and selfish, will not subject to getting itself rapped on the head by billy clubs. That's for the nice, privileged, educated, middle-class ladies with high regard for touching faith in the essential goodness of daddy and policeman. Meaning Antifa will always run away like scared little pussy bitches. Prove me wrong. Whenever the cops show up, they run because, God forbid, they actually go through with what they keep saying. You little fucking pussies.
Scum will always be furtive, sneaky, underhanded, although Scum members will always be known as such. Law enforcement destroy the system. Well, wait, no. Hold on. If Scum ever marches, it will be over the president's stupid, sickening face. If Scum ever strikes, it will be in the dark with the 6-inch blade, because God forbid you try to take on a fair fight, because you lose every fucking time. Both destruction and killing will be selective and discriminate. Bullshit. Scum is against self-crazed and discriminate riots with no clear objective in mind, in which many of our own kind are picked off. Yep, that's what Antifa kind of does. Scum will never instigate, encourage, or participate in riots of any kind. Bullshit. Or in other form of discriminate destruction. Bullshit. Scum will coolly, furtively stalk its prey, really, and quietly move for the kill. Wow, y'all, just dickbags. Destruction will never be such as to block off routes needed for transportation of food or essential supplies, contaminate or cut off water supply. We care about the people. Oh, fuck off. Block streets and traffic to the extent that ambulances can't get through and defeat the functionings of hospitals. Scum will keep on destroying, looting, fucking up, and killing until the money work system no longer exists and automation is completely instituted, or until women cooperated with Scum to make violence unnecessary to achieve its goals. That is, until enough women either unwork or quit work, start looting, leave men, and refuse to obey all laws inappropriate to a truly civilized society. Basically, just be a leftist, yang gang, blah, blah, blah. Holy shit, this is applicable. Block off, can't impede to function. So many women will fall into line, but many others who surrendered long ago to the enemy, who are adapted to animalism and maleness, that they like restrictions and restraints, don't know what they do with freedom, will continue to be toadies and doormats, just like the peasants and rice paddies remain peasants and rice paddies as one regime topples another. A few of the more volatile will whimper and sulk and throw their toys and dish racks on the floor, but Scum will continue to steamroller over them. Fucking idiots. A complete automated society can be accomplished and very simply and quickly once there is a public demand for it. The blueprints for it are already in existence, and its construction will only take a few weeks with millions of people working on it. Even though off the money system, everyone will be most happy to pitch in with the just pitch in for no gain. Just do it, and everyone who's not pitching in, they still get to fuck it. It will mark the beginning of the fantastic new era, and there will be a celebration atmosphere of accompanying the construction of the elimination of money and its complete institution of automation are basic to all the Scum forms. Without these, the two others can't take place. With them, the others will take place very rapidly, and this is literally what they're pushing for right now. The government, millions of people, the government will automatically collapse. Hooray! Fucking accelerationism, as touched upon earlier by these Antifa queers. With complete automation, it will be possible for every woman to vote directly on every issue by means of electronic voting machine in her house. Yeah, just mail-in voting. Get it, Nancy. Since the government is occupied almost entirely with regulating the economic affairs and legislating against purely private matters, the elimination of money wand the money wand, magic wand or something. With it, the elimination of males who wish to legislate morality will mean there will be practically no issues to vote on. Yeah. Right, if we all are just on the same page, it's like, hey, do we want to keep kicking ass? Yes, we all voted yes. The elimination of money. No. Wait, yes? No. After the elimination of money, there will be no further need to kill men because they'll already be dead. They'll be stripped of the only power they have over psychologically independent females. They will be able to impose themselves only on the doormats who like to be imposed on. The rest of women will be busy solving the few remaining unsolved problems before planning their agenda for eternity and utopia, completely revamping educational programs so that the millions of women can be trained within a few months for high-level intellectual work that now requires years of training. This can be very easily done once our educational goal is to educate and not perpetuate an academic and intellectual elite. Some people are just smarter than you, bitch. Get the fuck over it. Solving the problem of disease and old age and death, completely redesigning our cities and living quarters. Many women for a while continue to think they dig men, but as they become accustomed to female society and the dykist bullshit this cunt's trying to push on everyone, and they become absorbed in their projects, they'll eventually become to see the utter uselessness and banality of the male. A few remaining men can exist in their puny days, dropped out on drugs, they're strutting around in a drag, or passively watching the high-powered female in action. Again, back to the dominatrix. Fulfilling themselves as spectators' vicarious livers. Footnote, it will be electronically possible for him to tune into any specific female he wants to and follow in detail her every movement for $2.50 an hour. Fucking cool. Females will kindly obligingly consent to this, as it will not hurt them in the slightest, and it is a marvelously kind and humane way to treat their unfortunate handicapped fellow beings, or breeding the cow pastures with toadies, or they can go off to the nearest friendly suicide center and just, like, really, this is everything the leftists fucking say and think and tell, and then they pretend not to and pretend to be the victim, the weak, innocent. Oh, we're not as strong as you, alpha males. Yeah, we're always the victims. Not even males, we're women. Right? You do. Oh, you lefties watching. Where are we? Prior to the institution of automation, to the replacement of males by machines, the male would be of use to the female, wait on her, cater to her slightest whims, obey her every command, be totally subservient to her, exist in perfect obedience to her will, as opposed to the completely warped, degenerate situation we have now of men not only not existing at all, cluttering up the world with their ignominious presence, but being pandered to and groveling before the mass of females, millions of female piously worshipping the golden calf, the dog leading the master on a leash, when in fact the male, short of being a drag queen, is least miserable when his dogginess is recognized. Okay, you know what? Shut the fuck up, bitch. Men are better women at everything, including being women. If you want to prove us wrong, we're looking forward to it. Otherwise, that male surgeon did a great job on that dude who now looks like a chick. Go fuck yourself. No unrealistic emotion demands are made of him, and the complete together female is calling the shots. Rational men want to be squashed, stepped on, crushed, crunched, treated as the curs, the filth that they are, have their repulsiveness confirmed. Again, $2.50 an hour. The sick, irrational men those who attempt to defend themselves against their disgustingness when they see scum barreling down on them will cling in terror to Big Mama, and just like the fucking Surgeon General was talking about, and her big bouncy boobies, but boobies, titties, won't protect them against scum. Big Mama will be claiming to Big Daddy, the alpha male, who will be in the corner shitting. Sorry, that's not an alpha male. Shitting his forceful, dynamic pants. I mean, this is so dumb. It's like an alpha female trying to not pretend that alpha male doesn't. God damn it, Wonder Woman, Princess Diana. Speaking of people dying, it burns. Rational men want to be squashed, blah, 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 blah. The sick, rational men, those who attempt to defend themselves, blah, 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 blah. Titties, blah, 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 Big Mama, Big Daddy, who will be in their corner shitting his forceful dynamic pants. Men who are rational, however, won't kick or struggle or raise a distressing fuss, but will just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and ride the waves to their demise. And, oh dear Christ. Okay. Anyone who believes in that crap can please suck less or suck more, depending on what you're into. I don't know. I don't care. This has been too long, and oh my God. Like, I've seen this all in action. I've seen this played out in reality. This is where this crap comes from. It's like reading Saul Alinsky for the first time. It's like, oh my God. So with that, I'm ending the stream. If you made it this far, God bless you, or whatever you believe in, and do a Q. Praise Jonas, be best. Where we go when we go all. I mean, oh.